is by making them taste good. So we're going to talk about that also, because if I can tell you all day long about how good veggies are and how you should have them on your table and how you should eat these foods, but if they don't taste good, are you going to do it again? No. Okay. All right, so I move. That's going to be tough. Okay. All right. So what are roadblocks to meal planning? Getting it on our table and having it there for our family and for us to eat is the key. Why in meal planning is how we're going to get there. What's a roadblock? Why do we not do it? What's tough about it? Time. What else? Time is probably the biggest one, but are there any other roadblocks? Why do you not meal plan? Do you like to plan? Does everyone in here a planner? Does everyone in here like to write things down and make things super type A, restrict, you know? Does everyone like to do that? I don't. I'm the least type A in our department, right? And I don't like that, but I think some people take meal planning to that venue over there, okay? My style of meal planning is over here, so we'll talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so meal planning, it's an investment. I'm not here to say, you know what, it's super easy, just do it today, it will take you no time at all, and it'll be great. No, it's gonna take some time, but it's way gonna outweigh itself, okay? So it is an investment. You can't, if we live our lives, this is such an important message. And none of you are doing that right now, by the way, but if we lead our lives with the go with the flow mentality, right? If we aren't of the generation or of the mindset of questioning things once in a while, saying, I don't know if that's the best way to do that. Maybe we should be trying things this way. And I'm talking about health and wellness, but it can go beyond that, right? But we're talking about if we just do what the commercials tell us to do, what Walmart aisles and end caps tell us to do, what is easiest, because that's how we do it when we have kids and we have to run to sports events and we have to do this, and it's just easier just to do this. If we just do that, go with the flow, everyone else is doing it, because have you seen the line outside of McDonald's in the morning? It blows my mind. I cannot believe it. So I'm coming to work, I'm like, oh, I gotta get to work, and I don't mean, if any of you are there, I'm sorry, I'm not. But that's going with the flow. That's what we do. We're in a hurry, we go to McDonald's, we wait in a line though, but anyway. So going with the flow that's where society, if you will, and marketing is pushing us. So don't go with the flow. If you step back and think about things, which goes back to last month, being mindful. If we're more mindful, we can't go with the flow, okay? Must be mindful, there's the next point. So that means when you're meal planning, you have to think about it a little bit. Think about what you like, think about where you get your food. All of those things should be going through your mind. It has to be flexible and personal. And this is where the type A, this is where I have a hard time. I think, oh, I can't plan. Who knows what I'm gonna do on Wednesday? No way do I know on Sunday night what I'm doing Wednesday for dinner. In my mind, I'm like, I can't do that. I have too much going on, too many variables. So flexible is super duper important to me. It's key, okay? Personal, I have 5 people in my family to feed, and I don't do short order cooking, but I try to give them all a day that they can be excited about what's on the table, you know? So I let them pick a day, and then I get to momify it, if you will. Sure, go ahead and pick what you want, but I'm gonna make it like this. Avoid hands in the air. So meal planning has to work for you, and I think we've all heard me say this with different things that I've taught. If you are doing this meal planning thing, you start this new journal, you're not a type A person, if you will, but you get really into it and you're keeping this, and you think, oh, I can't do this anymore, this is way too much for me. So let up on yourself a little bit. That's okay. So try something less, I keep calling it type A, I shouldn't do that, but less restrictive, less concise. Let up a little bit, say you're gonna plan 3 days a week, but you're not throwing your hands in there and saying, forget it, this is crazy, I can't do this anymore. As soon as you do that, now you're back to point A. So even those of you who have been doing this fitness challenge and you're in the Fitbit, you think, oh geez, including myself, the last month or two has been a lot of times like, oh, my battery's been dead for 3 days, whoops. I mean, yeah, it's easy to kind of like, ooh, but I didn't throw it up completely. I charged it, I'm up at the bay, I did it, I made a couple healthy meals this week. I'm still on. I didn't just say, forget it, this is crazy. So remember that, with whatever you're doing, remember that, because we don't need to go back there, but we also don't need to super speed up here. Or maybe some of you are doing thinner winter. I think thinner winter is a super speeder. get you motivated quickly, and I think that's the whole intent of a thinner winter. It's not to get you to your goal weight and keep you there in a month, 4 weeks. So, but it can be one of those motivators. So if you need that right now. Avoid hands in the air, don't throw your hands up. Cost savings, absolutely cost savings with meal planning. Huge investment. Health savings, of course. We're more mindful. You are not going to buy and consume as much junk if you are planning a meal plan. Lifestyle satisfaction. Less stress and more fun. It's stressful to come and say, oh, I have nothing planned, what am I going to make? And the kids eat junk and you feel bad about it. And then you eat junk and you feel bad. So that's never a win-win. Okay. So with that, how are we going to plan healthy meals on a budget? We're going to list foods. This is where you're going to use your little worksheet. Okay? So I'm kind of going to go through this a little bit, and then we're going to go back and actually do it. So think about this. We're going to list some foods that you enjoy or that you are willing to try. And I encourage you, those of you especially who have a smaller, not to say palate, but you don't try a lot of different things. When you're doing that, things you like but willing to try something different. Make it once a week. Maybe that's your goal. We talked to some of you who had me look at your food plans. That was my goal for a lot of you. Try something different and do it, make it exciting. Do it once a week, once a month, whatever works for you. List foods in all the food groups to ensure you're getting balance, right? We talked about why we need to have protein, we need to have starch, we need to have all of the fruits and vegetables. So list these foods, but list them in the food groups, and we're going to do that. And then when you're choosing your foods, if we just try to stick to the basics of whole foods and then just add a few junk foods, if you will, in, then we're going to come home with a whole lot of good food and a whole lot of good things to make, and you have choices. Okay, so Wednesday night is really, really busy. Well, guess what? I have A, B, or C options. So taco night, we're going to make spaghetti, or we're going to make that stir fry that takes a little longer. Wednesday turned out to be crazy. Stir fry night isn't happening. It's going to be quick spaghetti. Whatever you have all those options available, but those options aren't going to include a bunch of junk food. And when I say junk food, I mean a can of ragu. I mean a rice-a-roni. I mean things that have a bunch of extras in them that we didn't put in there, and we don't really even know exactly what they are that's in there, right? So junk foods are calories that are not getting you anywhere. They're not giving you anything good. Is it going to make you gain a bunch of weight just because you have rice-a-roni or because you have ragu in a can? No. But it should, we should try, and for cost purposes too, and to get used to real good flavors and fresh flavors, step back and say, how can I do this differently? So I have Velveeta mac and cheese in my cupboard, and my kids are ecstatic about it. So, you know, I have that crap in my house too. It's not a meal. That's a get by until I make real food type of food for my kids. You know, sometimes they need that. There are nights and there are days when I don't get home and my son is old enough he can make that. So I taught him how to make homemade too, and sometimes he'll do that, but he's not going to do that on a quick night. So, you know, we all need those nights. So I'm not saying, I'm also flexible and reasonable, okay? Okay, so I'm also the one that looks at all the junk and picks the best junk. My husband thinks that's crazy. I'm like, well, it's like me going to Home Depot and telling you to buy the cheaper hammer. He's a builder. I'm like, so you can't tell me, right? Okay. Okay, so let's go through and do this. So look in your worksheet, and greens groups. So there's all kinds of greens in here. You can look through here. You don't have to read this verbatim right now. But what you will do is you'll look at all these greens and look at some of these different greens. Like, oh, we have brown rice, buckwheat. Some of these things you'll be familiar from last month's class, right? We gave away things in a jar. Somebody got buckwheat, I think. Somebody got bulgur. So some of those things you should already have in your house. And if you don't, I got them local. You go right to Neiman's, okay? Some of these, quinoa, rolled oats, steel cut oats, you know, pretzels. Those are not as healthy, but they're not. Pretzels, tortillas, a flour tortilla. There's some, I made a wrap today. I used a whole wheat tortilla. That was all, and it has a good source of fiber in it versus just a plain old white tortilla. There's easy, simple things you could do to make these things healthier, okay? So then you're gonna go through and you're gonna pick some of those things that you like, and then you're gonna go through the fruits and vegetables, and I would encourage you to try something. What I would encourage you to do to stay on the healthy and on a budget is pick things that are in season. So right now, to go pick watermelon, it's going to not taste very good. It's going to be very expensive. So pick things that are in season, and this is a good time of year for the apples, pears, peaches, things like that. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with frozen. And a little tidbit for you. I don't know if y'all are aware, but it's at the dollar store by Tractor Supply. Has huge selection. Every time I've gone in there, I've been in there a couple times in the last couple months, of frozen berries, like good, yummy frozen blue. I'm gonna tell them my secret. Let me go on. Frozen blueberries, and they come in a bag like this. And I just stacked. I mean, even my 12 bags for $12. My freezer's full of them, and my kids every morning will put them on cereal, put them in yogurt, and they're good. It's actually better to buy a frozen blueberry than to try and buy a blueberry right now. They're getting a little out of season now. They're not very good. But when they freeze them, they take them in their freshest state and then freeze them. So they're quite tasty. And they're good frozen because they're all separate. They're not in a big clump. They don't let them melt. So anyway, they have peaches, they have strawberries, they have all kinds of stuff for $1 a bag. Everything's $1 at that store. So yeah, I was surprised. I didn't expect to find that. I was in there for school supplies and ran across that. So that also can count. In the winter, keep in mind, because winter, there's not a lot of variety for our produce. Okay. And then we will go to the proteins. So proteins are what? Protein foods are going to be beans, peas, lentils, chicken, game meats, poultry, I said chicken, eggs, processed soy products. Here's where you're going to get your tofu, they have all kinds of textured vegetable protein, which is like the veggie burger stuff. Okay, so that counts as protein, nuts and seeds, seafood, fish, all kinds of things. So get outside of just taco and spaghetti night a little bit. And you can still make it quick. Okay, so here we go. Oh, and then fats and oils. Fats and oils are an important piece. So let me kind of go through here. So we have protein, vegetables, fats, and condiments. I put fats and condiments in the same line because, and I didn't put that in here, this fats and oils page. Fats and condiments should not be, it's a way to add texture to your food, it's a way to add flavor, and it's a way to add really good nutrients. But it's also a way to really blow it, okay? So with that being said, add fats and oils as a condiment always. Nuts and seeds should always be a condiment. So when you're having a beer and you're at a bar and they have a bowl of peanuts, not a good idea if you haven't had dinner. Because peanuts are good for you, but they should only be in small, quarter cup servings. You could put a quarter cup of nuts and seeds or whatever on a salad or in yogurt or over a casserole. That, if you're eating whole foods, there's no fat in your meal, right? You had some pasta, you had some vegetable, you had some protein, lean protein. There's virtually no fat in my meal. Where am I going to get it from? The best place is from nuts and seeds and oils. But if we just went to that jar of nuts and seeds without all this other stuff, that's easily 800 calories you could eat in no time flat. They're good 800 calories, but those are still 800 calories, right? And that too much of that is never a good thing. So just keep that in mind, and that's why I have condiments by fats. I think fats are really important for us to add in, and they will help keep you more satisfied. They'll help make your meal more of a meal. I always say, I use an example of a salad. I love the salad bar here. That's what I eat every time I have lunch here. But the reason I love it is there's so many options for condiments. I can add the oil and vinegar. I can add this good olive oil. I always put sunflower seeds. I even sometimes put nuts if they have nuts out there. So that's how I don't have any other fat in my lunch, but that's what makes my meal a meal. If I just had a salad with just some vegetables on it, and no beans and no fat, that wouldn't hold me over very long. That wouldn't really be much of a meal. It's kind of just lettuce, right? So make sure you're balancing it using the plate. And the plate should be in here. There is a picture of the plate in here, yes. A little tiny colored picture right here. You all have seen that multiple times, I'm sure, right? That little colorful picture. Your meals should include those things. So, stepping back to step one. Let's do step two, because we already did step one. We looked through and we've thought about what things we want to try. So go through here, let's spend like a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes. And if you can try and list at least one thing, if not two things, and then I'm going to show you how we go to the next step. Okay? So go through and write a couple grains that you're willing to try. Some protein you're willing to try, some vegetables. I didn't put fruits because fruits are kind of extra. We usually have a hard time eating fruits. It's usually the vegetables that we don't incorporate as much. So when it comes to meals, but it can be either way. Okay. And while you're doing this, I'll tell you this back page, this little blue, this is empty calories back here. And something like a chicken breast, or like fried chicken, a piece of fried chicken, it can be white meat, is about 450 calories. 300 and some of those are junk calories. A roasted piece of chicken breast that was roasted without the skin on it, still tasty, 0 junk calories. So think about that when you're making your choices, when you're putting your proteins down, what protein choices, fried chicken, fish from Fish Night, Friday Fish Fry, and steak. Those are pretty heavy protein choices. So think about that. Quinoa, bulgur. Come on, you can try it. I know you can. Who's putting bulgur on their list? It's cheap. And it is soup season, so think about that when you're doing your meal planning. Okay. Okay, do you guys have some things listed? I know we only have so much time, but I want you to take this with you. I'm going to show you the whole, how it all comes together. So what you're going to do after you have this list, and you should have it filled, and this is where you should incorporate your kids. Say, what kind of meat do you want this week? What do you like? Do you like fish? Oh, I like fish. One of my kids will say fish for sure. I want salmon. Okay, so then I have to figure out how to make a salmon meal. So go through and ask if there's any specifics, okay? What are they willing to try? Something different. One new thing, especially if you have a kid who's not very adventurous. Then the next step, step 3, is this page with the plate on it. Now you're going to make some meals out of that list, okay? So let's just make at least 1 or 2 meals right now. And what I have on here, Monday, Tuesday, you know how I do this? I told you I was so not type A, and I don't like big strict lists, and I will find myself outside of Neiman's doing this before I go into the grocery store on a piece of old scrap paper. I'm not joking, I did it last week. And I said, okay, I need 4 meals at least. I have to have 4 meals before I go into that store, otherwise I'm just buying a bunch of stuff. And so, and I know when I have my pantry, because I looked before I left, I knew I had at home. So you go through and you pick some things, and so I had 4 meals, and then on Monday night, even though it said Monday night, it was away. Monday night was that Velveeta mac and cheese and some edamame and sliced apples. Super quick and easy, but sort of healthy. And so my Monday night then got switched to Tuesday. So what? So now Tuesday I'm going to do what was on my Monday. That's all right. So the meat's already thawed out. I'm way ahead of the game now. So be flexible. Be flexible, but you have to go into your week with at least 4 meals written down. I don't say 7 because really the weekends come and, you know, if you want to do 7, you can do that. Remember I said the planning goes from way over here, the type A, to way over here to me? You can do whatever you want in the spectrum. So the person over here might want 7, and they might even keep it on the days. If you don't have kids running in every direction, you might be able to plan Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But things come up, okay? So go ahead and do that. Come up with a few, and I'm going to ask for some examples. So come up with a few. And do one, just because we're only doing a few right now, that has something new on it that you haven't had, or that you wanted your family to try. Does anyone have a sample for me yet? One meal? Should I call on people?
I want what Robin's having.
You know what Robin's having. That was already planned for her because the
I know.
cafeteria has to have vegetables, starch. That cafeteria's a great.
Part of the reason
What do
I'm
you
eating
have?
I have whole wheat tortillas,
Okay.
and I make Spanish quinoa,
Okay.
and then chicken for the protein, and bell peppers and onions for vegetables, and sliced apples with pieces for dessert.
Perfect. Now, that's on your list. Is there any of that that you, so the next step would be, that's one of her options, and that's great. And you know you could go without the chicken because quinoa has just as much protein as chicken. But it's okay. If you like chicken, you can have chicken. I just didn't know you knew that. The next step then would be to look in your pantry. What do you already have at home out of that?
Most of it.
Most of it. So what do you need to add to your ingredients? Maybe some peppers?
Yeah, well, I have the peppers, but maybe some whole wheat tortillas because I
Yep.
don't like them.
So all of a sudden her grocery list is, all she added was whole wheat tortillas. So if she's coming home with whole wheat tortillas, now she has a meal. You see how that can work? We have so much food that is not being, look at your cupboards at home. And you'll be amazed, like, oh my gosh. Now I'm not saying go to your cupboards and try and plan around that, because some of that stuff we bought on impulse and whatever, it's there. But do think about what's in your pantry, and all of a sudden your grocery list is not that big, and it's pretty effective, okay? And it's using whole foods. One more example. Who else? Someone has a meal. Okay, thank you.
Okay, a whole wheat bun, a turkey burger, roasted Brussels sprouts, and, my husband will want light mayo on his turkey burger, but, you know, we're using olive oil as a healthy fat to roast the Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. Okay, so you have the whole wheat burger, the turkey, the Brussels sprouts. Perfect. Are any of those things different that you haven't had?
He never wants whole wheat bun, and I'm sure he's never tried a roasted Brussels sprout.
Okay, there you go. Do you know a really good way to make roasted Brussels sprouts? You have to massage them first with oil, really, take as much.
I know, yeah,
You know how to do it?
I kind of do it the same way as I do the asparagus or anything like that. I'm just tossing in something.
Toss it is one thing, but I mean, really, I have my kids massage it in there, and it makes a huge difference. I don't know what it did, but I don't know if it gets it in there more, but
I will
it's a
try
fun
to
job
massage
for
my
kids.
Brussels sprouts.
It's fun for the kids to do. It's kind of funny for us to do, but okay. Massage your Brussels sprouts. Leave with that. Okay. Make sure that it tastes good. So we said we're going to talk about this. I have two things for us to taste today. Can you grab that blue bag in the? I just want to show you some things quick. Spices. You have to like spices. Otherwise, you're going to go to Rice-A-Roni every time. Okay. You have to know what to do with your rice. So go to Neiman's. Go to Neiman's, and they at the dollar store again. I got these little clear shaker bottles with a cap. I just buy them in those little plastic containers and put my spices in the shaker so my husband will use them. Otherwise, he thinks we don't have anything if it's not in front of his face. So the shakers do make it easy though, and then they're right there, right out in front, just like I have my things in the jar. It's easy, accessible, and you have to have them. And if you're not comfortable with them, I'll tell you the go-tos. Curry, love it, love it, love it. It's my favorite. My friends joke that I put it in everything, and I kind of do. And then cumin. Cumin is your Mexican seasoning. You don't have to buy those little packets anymore. That's stuff that we don't even know what it is. There's a lot of stuff in those little packets. So cumin is wonderful. You're gonna have to put a little salt to make it taste like a taco seasoning, but at least you know how much salt you're putting in. Pepper, but cumin, curry, and garlic. And a little chili powder sometimes a good thing to have around.
Sweet basil.
Sweet basil, absolutely. Sesame oil. So here are some of this. I showed you this last time, didn't I? Bragg's. And you know what? I shouldn't talk. I was going to go buy their whole stock, but I'm going to tell you my secret too. This is kind of pricey. And I think I wanted to tell people at Neiman's they're putting it in the wrong spot. They need to put it by the soy sauce. This is an alternative for soy, and they have it by the barbecue sauce.
What is it?
Bragg's, it's liquid aminos, it's an all-purpose seasoning, it's a soy alternative. So there's virtually no sodium, 160 milligrams, but it's fabulous. It tastes like soy. That's what I marinated the tofu in, as well as some other things.
What else is in there?
I'll let you look at it. It's vegetable protein from soybeans.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. So that is great. Garlic powder, curry, so I just put in these little things. And then, I don't know if y'all knew you could buy peanut butter in the bulk at Neiman's. They grind it right there. It's pretty cool. Cumin. So these are the things that are in the tofu that I marinated. Olive oil, and then ginger root, and I forgot to bring that. But it makes it really fresh tasting too. So make it taste good, but try something different. If you haven't had any of these, get one of them in your grocery list this week. It's hard to do just one. You might want to get all 3. Okay. Always add veggies. So if you think, oh, it's boring, always add an onion or a pepper or something if you're making something. If you're like, oh, I gotta make this rice and I don't know what to do with it, throw in some peppers if you like that flavor. Now you're gonna have the picky person in the house who says, ew, I don't like that texture, I don't like the chunks in my, right? So cut it small. Cut it small, saute it first, it's very mild, they'll be okay. I think they'll survive. Make sure you have a sample before you leave. The tofu wrap at least. Someone will bring their one. Okay. And that's it. Then, but I do want us to get up and design your meals. We did that. What do you have in your pantry? We did that. And unpacking, it's important to have a refrigerator that's available, that is welcoming to this new stuff you're bringing in the house. It's really, really bad to put a bunch of good produce on top of the old produce. There's nothing better than a clean refrigerator with good stuff that's already cut and ready to use, right? So try and give yourself that time as part of the planning. Get rid of the stuff. Hopefully you don't have a lot of stuff to get rid of. Lots of things. You have to plan the night ahead. So you have that meal list. You're going to look at Monday night, Sunday night. You're going to look at it and say, Monday, oh, stir fry. I can't do that tomorrow, but I could do spaghetti. So I'm going to take out the meat right now. And my husband's going to make the pasta when he gets home, have it strained, ready to go. So when we get home from soccer or hockey, that's all I have to do is warm up the meat's already thawed out, just put it with some sauce, the noodles are already cooked, and they're al dente, they've been, got some olive oil, they're ready to go, and everything's done. That was a quick night. My Monday, I thought I was going to be able to do that, but nah, it's going to have to wait till Wednesday. But at least the night before, you can take out, or chop some of the veggies while you're watching your favorite program. There's ways to do it. You just have to think a little bit more about it. Okay. Okay, and cooking grains is a great thing. Ahead of time, quinoa, rice, having that available. So now, how are your samples? You have to go try them, and it's time right now. So maybe we can get the samples while Kendall or Robin are doing the drawings. Okay. So back here, I'm going to tell you we have recipes right here for them. And the recipes are, it's a